Coming up on today's San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports, I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. We have exciting intel on 49ers rookie wide receiver Ricky Pearsall from one of the best NFL analysts out there, and I'm also going to explain and break down how the 49ers can dominate the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Speaking of that game, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications so that you can join us for our Niners-Cowboys watch party. We'll do a pregame show. We'll preview this game. During the game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, instant reaction. We'll do a post-game show. We have some Super Chat giveaways. It's the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. And when you do turn on those notifications, anytime we go live, anytime we push out a show, you'll be notified. And I also want to begin with this. Since we're talking Niners-Cowboys today, we have a 25-minute preview that's already up on the channel. Be sure to check that out to get prepped for game day. If you hate the Dallas Cowboys, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and type F Dallas in the chat, because the energy that George Kittle brought to the field at Levi's Stadium last October when the Niners annihilated and embarrassed the Cowboys in front of a national audience is the same energy that we have all week. And that type of swagger can help us overcome that awful loss against Kansas City last week. F Dallas on the shirt. He scored 3 touchdowns. He backed up his actions with his play. That's what you love to see. As for Ricky Pearsall, let's first show you the numbers in his NFL debut. And these statistics will not blow anybody away. 5 targets, 3 catches, 21 yards, 7 yards per catch. He had just gotten shot at the start of September. And for him to be playing in an NFL game after getting shot in the chest by the end of October, pretty impressive. Obviously, he has to get into better game shape. He has to get acclimated with this offense. He has to have that harmonious relationship working with Brock Purdy and understand the physicality and the speed of the NFL level. But after a great week of practice, he was elevated. It helped that Juwan Jennings was out because of that hip injury, and that allowed Pearsall to make his debut. And San Francisco was very impressed with the week of practice that he had. And when he can get to full strength, the Niners are hoping that he can be a big weapon for this team. His separation is supposed to be a strength. He has short area quickness and wiggle, especially off the line of scrimmage because of his footwork and his route running. He did run a 4.4 40-yard dash in the pre-draft process, but he doesn't really have that long vertical speed to take the top off of the defense. He kind of beats you right away, right from the start of the route, and that's how he's able to gain separation. But his separation was 0.8 yards. That would have ranked 194th. But obviously, it is such a limited sample size. As for what should make you excited, Greg Cosell is one of the top NFL analysts in the industry. He's worked for NFL Films. He's gone on some of the best NFL shows. He watches like every single play of every single game. He is well-versed, well-educated, well thought out, and just a brilliant football mind. And he had this to say while on the radio in San Francisco this week on either KNBR or 95.7 The Game. Excuse me for not knowing exactly which station he was on. Both are really good, and I've been on both, and I appreciate them having me. Cosell said this: Pearsall running routes looked pretty juicy. He's got some physicality to him. There were a couple of times he was pressed, and he ran through the press. I'm really anxious to see him play a little bit more. My scouting evaluation of Pearsall is as such, and was this going into the NFL draft. And of course, when San Francisco drafted him, I relayed a lot of these thoughts on the airwaves here. His quick feet, really good route runner. He's a slippery wide receiver because of how quickly he can get off the line of scrimmage. He can play inside or outside. Kyle Shanahan has said that we think that he can do both, although I personally think he's better suited as a slot receiver. It helps him get better matchups that he can exploit. Ideally, he can beat zone and man. Niners receivers haven't been able to beat press. They haven't been able to beat man. And that's a huge problem. And Niners receivers this year haven't been able to gain separation. Brock Purdy dead last among all starters in the National Football League in receiver target separation. Ricky Pearsall, you're going to enjoy watching him because he's also tough as nails. He plays bigger than his size. He can go up, elevate, get it, and come down with some of those contested 50-50 balls, really soft hands, and a willing blocker. Of course, there are a few things that Ricky Pearsall can clean up, and in that game against Kansas City, he ran this crosser in which he didn't get his head turned around in time. He even admitted he ran his route a little bit too deep and the timing was off between him and Brock Purdy. But of course, that is something that he's going to be able to work on, and it's something he can get better at as he simply gets some more experience. Because remember, he barely was on the practice field during training camp, didn't play at all in the preseason. He was dealing with a hamstring and then a shoulder, and then he got shot in the chest. Here's what Kyle Shanahan said about him getting caught up with the offense. The more he plays, the better he's going to get. He got that. You could see throughout the practice week, and then it's only going to help him going forward, getting more reps in the game than anticipated with the guys going down. So I expect him to get more comfortable each week. He's going to have to get more comfortable each week because Brandon Ayuk is out for the rest of the year, and Juwan Jennings might not play either in this game against the Cowboys because he's dealing still with that hip injury. Speaking of Niners, Cowboys, and Ricky Pearsall, this is today's poll question and the pinned comment for today's video. Predict Pearsall's stat line against Dallas. And if you want a Ricky Pearsall jersey, plenty are available. If you go to chatsports.com/Pearsall, obviously it's not going to be the number 1. That's Deebo Samuel Sr. It'll be in the number 14, but these are from draft day since he was the first round pick for San Francisco. If you're looking for another Niners jersey, you can still find them using that link. Thanks to our friends at Fanatics, chatsports.com/Pearsall. Here's how the San Francisco 49ers can dominate the Dallas Cowboys. This Cowboys defense has not been good this year, and they have some clear issues in stopping the run. They've also given up a lot of points on numerous occasions this year. The Cowboys' schedule got off to a good start with the win in Cleveland against the Browns. We have since found out that Browns team stinks. Week 2 at home, they got shellacked by the New Orleans Saints, 44-19. They were down big against the Baltimore Ravens before a garbage time comeback made that score a little bit closer than it actually was, 28-25. They beat the Giants 20-15 in Week 4 to even up that record at 2-2. They went on the road Sunday Night Football a few weeks ago to kick off October, beat the Steelers 20-17. That was a good dub for them. And then right before the bye week, they got embarrassed on Jerry Jones's 82nd birthday, 47-9 loss to the Lions as Detroit was toying with that Dallas defense all throughout the afternoon. This is how the Cowboys fare as just general offensive and defensive statistics. Offensively, Dak Prescott's really just been okay. I think Mike McCarthy's offense is completely vanilla. They also don't have a good ground game. Offensive line isn't what it's been in the past. And outside of CD Lamb, I don't love their wide receiver depth. They're 20th in points per game, 12th in yards per game, 18th in yards per play, 10th in third down conversion rate, 31st in the red zone. You think San Francisco's been bad in the red area, whether it's the low red, the high red, Dallas has been worse. Defensively for the Cowboys, 31st in points per game, 24th in yards per game, 24th in yards per play, 10th in third down conversion rate, and 31st in the red zone. So they are not getting stops in the red zone. They are not scoring touchdowns when they get in the red zone. Micah Parsons did not practice on the Thursday that we record this show, so we'll see if he can play. He's missed the last couple with a high ankle sprain. The point here that I want to get to is how the Niners can dominate Dallas and exploit their biggest weakness defensively, and that's with San Francisco running the football. Look at how this Cowboys rushing defense stacks up. Yards per rush, 4.5 given up. That's 15th in the NFL. Rushing yards per game, 27th, 143.2. They're giving up 1.7 rushing touchdowns per game on average. Second to last in the NFL. EPA per play allowed, dead last. Success rate allowed on the ground, 30th. DVOA, 29th. Adjusted line yards allowed, 30th. What I don't want to see from Kyle Shanahan is an Arizona Cardinals game repeat. That game to kick off October, the Cardinals had been horrible against the run. What did Kyle Shanahan and the Niners do? They got way too pass happy. And they spoiled a Nick Bosa interception, a Diamador Lenore scoop and score on the blocked field goal, and they didn't score a point in the second half of that game. And they didn't run the football enough. So going up against this Cowboys team, I want to see San Francisco take their will, snatch the souls out of their chests, and end their season at Levi Stadium. So who you got? DAL for the Cowboys, SF for the 49ers. I'm going with San Francisco to win this football game, and I do think they cover the line, which right now is about 4.5 points.